Happy Sunday. Nothing like a hot cup of tea.
Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome to a slightly new look Sunday Elevenses as we go through a very interesting transition. I am skipping through as flipping quickly as I can because it is an afternoon tea special. Oh my word. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Because I've literally just popped these scones in the air fryer to warm them up. Yes, I've jumped on the air fryer bandwagon. And so I have to tell you, I have so many exciting things. Anyway, listen, good morning, hello, welcome to Sunday Elevenses. It's me, Jez Rose, it's live, which means literally anything could happen. I have to double check I've got my notes here because I've got so much to get through. It is definitely morning, Lucy. I totally understand that. I'm with you all of the way. However, the difference is that, you know, with afternoon tea, it's quite nice because you can have it at 11. Because as you're about to find out, 11s sort of plays a role in the sort of afternoon tea thing as well. Interestingly enough, I found out while I was doing a little bit of research. I'm just going to pour this tea because this is going to be ready, he says as he pours what can only be described as my colleague at work used to say, gnat's piss. But I'm just going to pour this out because 11s apparently came about with a shift in time. I'm going to talk to you more about sort of afternoon tea because I think that probably is more relevant for today. Let me just get this going. Now, afternoon tea is not sponsored this week, but I thought what would be quite cute. It's kind of difficult to do afternoon tea at home without realising that I certainly do not have enough places. So I hope you've had a lovely week anyway. Let me just find this while I'm doing this. There we go. I don't want to mark my desk. So I thought I would send off for an afternoon tea, and I found this place online called Cutter and Squidge. They absolutely don't sponsor the podcast. Sponsor Sunday Elevenses, but it comes in this super sexy box because I thought, wouldn't it be really nice to sort of replicate afternoon tea here at home for you guys in the morning, rather than me going out and trying to find an afternoon tea, which obviously is what you'd normally do. And this is really cute. It's afternoon tea for two at home. And it arrived yesterday. You can get it delivered on a Saturday. It's a bit more expensive to get it delivered on a Saturday, and I'm finding that it makes Sunday 11s a little more expensive to produce because Sunday, delivery on a Saturday is like a tenner. But I love an afternoon tea. You are watching me stir my tea with a butter knife here. I absolutely love afternoon tea. It's one of my favourite things to do. I love taking clients for afternoon tea. I love taking friends for afternoon tea. I love everything about this sort of ritual. And really fascinating when you're like, hey Keith, good to see you. He's eating homemade biscotti cheesecake. That's what I say to that, frankly. When I looked up the history of afternoon tea, really fascinating. I thought I understood it, but it's so much more interesting than I thought. So years and years and years ago, we're talking sort of 1800s. Now, tea obviously has been used since the early 1600s. Is the first time that anybody sent for tea and felt that they should have, tea as an experience, as a moment. So the idea of sort of having a moment to drink tea actually goes back, quite a way. Michelle adores afternoon tea too. Of course you do, because you're one of us, Michelle. That's why you're here. Anyway, so years and years and years ago, 1800s, obviously the whole place is gaslit, literally, not in terms of modern social terms. There's no electricity, lots of gas lighting, which means that because of running out of gas and having to people go and light gas lamps and stuff and blow them out, the days were a lot shorter. So you had your breakfast, you had your lunch and you had your dinner in quite a short period of time. So you didn't really get hungry because there was, your periods of time that you were eating were nice and short. As electric light was invented, and the more wealthy places like large estates got electric light, they were able to draw their days out longer. So therefore the meals got further along because they didn't need to eat dinner when it was sort of dusk time or whatever. They could actually drag it right out into the evening, have lovely long dinner parties, which meant that, and this is the interesting thing, the 7th Duchess of Bedford, Anna Marie Russell, is sort of credited as inventing, if you like, afternoon tea. It's said to be about 1840 that happened. However, Mark's just had toasted hot cross bun for his breakfast. That's a real favourite thing of mine. A little bit out in terms of our edible calendar throughout the year. I would have thought you were going to say a toasted mince pie or something. But, oh, wait, everybody stop. Lucy needs sympathy. She's recovering from laryngitis. Ugh, that is horrible. You've just had toast and peanut butter, though, so I don't. Maybe you've sort of, you're not really helping Lucy yourself, are you? You should blend it, maybe. Poor you. Welcome, you're in a safe space. It's nice and warm and cosy here. So anyway, she decides, I'm getting a bit peckish because there's this big gap between lunch and dinner now that, we've got light. Everybody else probably doesn't have this problem by that point because no one else has got electric light. But she decides, do you know what, maybe I could send for sort of just like a light tea. Maybe some sort of sandwiches and stuff. And so she started having that. But of course, obviously, the days are longer and she's a bit lonely. So she starts to invite friends and says, why don't you come, and have sort of a little light food between lunch and tea, fill that bit of gap where sort of nothing's really happening socially. Hence, this whole sort of huge, great thing starts with afternoon tea and cut forward, several hundred years, and it's become a real fashionable thing to do. Now, I said to you I would share some of my favourites. Now, I've never had this little box from Cutter and Squidge, but it is super cute. Have a little peek inside my box. Stop it, Keith. Here, we've got... There's 2 packs of scones, all butter scones, best eaten warm. Okay, so I've just popped those in the air fryer for 6 minutes. It says they bake 5 to 7 minutes at 180 degrees. It's tea for 2, so, Mr. Adorable gets that when he gets home, which is quite nice. And there's a little menu. You are about to watch me eat. There are no rules to content creation. 2 indulgent, well, you're not, but 2 indulgent brownies, 2 lemon drizzle cakes. Okay. 4 buttery scones, 1 pot of clotted cream, 1 pot of fruity jam, loose leaf tea, yes, please. And it comes in this really cute, look how cute that lemon, is it lemon drizzle cake? Yeah, look how cute that is with like little flecks of dust off the floor. I don't know. But I think it's lavender and petals and stuff. Some brownies. Now that's going to be controversial, isn't it? Because of course we all know that Gower Cottage brownies are the best brownies in the world, so we're going to give those a jolly good going in a second. And in here there's like a little ice pack cum clotted cream thing inside here, so have a little look. It looks largely recyclable. This, what I'm about to open now, probably is the least recyclable thing in it. I'm not entirely sure why it needs to be like that, but there's my clotted cream and there's my jam. So obviously you start with your lovely tea. I've had that brewing in there. This is gorgeous. Now, interestingly, I asked you for your, favourite afternoon tea. Oh, they do smell flipping good, I have to say. I do love a scone. I have to say, I'm pretty good at a scone. Now, we're about to get to the controversial bit. I just figured we should jump straight in here, because I know it's going to be controversial. Are we going cream first or jam first? So you can start off in the comments. I'm going to hold back. There's a slight transmission delay here, so I'm going to hold back for a bit. Cream first if you cream first, jam first if you jam first. Whatever the bone of sort of general consensus is, I absolutely will go with that. But this seems to divide people, doesn't it? There is a correct way, and I'm going to share that with you now. And there's a reason why there's a correct way. But before that, I want to find out what yours is. But can you bloody hurry up, because this smells gorgeous. I really want to get into it. So the only thing you don't get with this afternoon tea is sandwiches and stuff like that, which I'm okay with. The full afternoon tea, traditionally and historically, absolutely. You start with sandwiches, so some savoury bits, and then you end with this sweet bit. And the idea of the sweet bit is that you can drag this on as long as you like. Ladies at leisure, we can do all that. We've got a lot of cream first. Keith's gone in with a little curveball. Keith is first to say jam, then cream. Jam provides a structural integrity for the cream. All right, I think we're all taking it a little bit too seriously. Michelle's another jam first. Oh, Jill's a cream first. Kath. Kath's got a caveat. Caveat Kath, as we call her. We don't. If it's clotted cream, then cream first. Mark's a jam first. Cream is a topping, not a butter. See, already it's starting to get a little bit. Matthew Daly, cream is like butter, spreads easier, then spoon the jam on top. Oh gosh, this is amazing. Really, really easy, interesting. Okay, I'm going to leave it a couple of seconds, then you go on. Now, I did ask you to send in your sort of points and tips and let me know what you like about afternoon tea and where your favourite ones have been. I'm going to share you my favourite, a bit of an afternoon tea whore, I'm not going to lie. And there I said it, and I'm not ashamed. You are who you are. So I'm going to share with you my favourite. I've just realised I've knocked that on the microphone. You probably can't hear anything I'm saying. I'm going to share with you my favourite afternoon teas. I've had lots of them, but there's one in particular which is amazing. But Jim Simmons and his wife sent me near to a small book on their afternoon tea experience. So I thought I liked afternoon tea. We have got pros among us. And there was a list. A 1, 2, 3, 4, like a 20-point list, which is crusts must be removed. Given, that's traditional. And the reason for that is because bread used to be baked differently and the crusts were extremely thick and not especially tasteful. So originally that's why the crusts were removed from everything. They also force you to chew harder, and therefore there's a greater risk that you'll open your mouth, which of course was extremely poor etiquette. So anything that was softer was better to chew. The second point that Jim and his wife make is it has to be served with tea and only tea, never ever coffee. This is unacceptable and the world will end otherwise. Absolutely with you there. And of course tea was first. Coffee didn't come till a little bit later. And tea houses were, it was the hot drink of choice and was the imperial drink of choice because it was imported by the royal families first. I forget the king's name, who was the first person to import tea. So traditionally, yes, it should be tea. A choice of tea is vital, Jim and his wife say, but must include standard tea. But the more intriguing sounding teas there are, the better. Of course, you didn't used to get that choice. Cucumber sandwiches with cream cheese, absolutely. There must be ham and mustard sandwich. I do like a ham and mustard sandwich in a cream tea. There must be an egg mayonnaise sandwich. I feel like we're getting into some real specifics. There must be, I'm quoting this verbatim, there must be a smoked salmon sandwich, and there must be a mozzarella and pesto sandwich. We've gone right off piece here, Jim. Different breads, plain scones, cream first, then jam. I'm coming to that right now. My wife does not eat currants or sultanas as she is strange. She thinks they look like flies. I have to say I really love a fruit scone. However, again, fruit, hugely expensive commodity and not used so much in scones in the early years. So you're absolutely, the correct way is a plain scone, but I do love scone. So let's put you all out of your misery. We've had Michelle saying if you put jam on one half then cream on the other, then put them together, everyone's happy. That's the way. Michelle's here to pacify. That's why you're here, Michelle. We love it. We call her Pacifier Michelle. We don't. So the correct way, historically, is that you should put cream on first because it is very thick, right? So if it's clotted cream, it goes on first because it's harder to, because you're putting the firm cream on top of, I feel like I'm going to lose an awful lot of viewers. You're putting the firm cream on to a firm surface. So that goes on first, almost a bit like icing, if you like, the scone. And then you grab your jam. And this is lovely. In Cutter and Cutter, this is a homemade strawberry jam. That's a really lovely touch, isn't it? So I'll talk about that another time, maybe. So you're going to, and there's a lot of jam here. I mean, that's a big jars. I think you've got some spare. And then, of course, your jam, which historically didn't have gelatins and things in, so was runnier, is much easier, therefore, to spread, and didn't have pectins in either, over the top of the cream. So that is the correct way to do it. But I think, Michelle, you're absolutely right. Let's try and keep everybody happy. It's not quite correct etiquette, but do one on one half, one on the other, then we're good. So let's have a little... Oh. They are really good. That is a bloody good scone. That's really, really good. And do you know what? Warm all the way. Warm. Matthew says, I don't like to be that person who says they're right, but if the cat fits, right. I know. You can't help who you are. If you're right all the time, it's a privilege and also something to bear as well, right? So, amazing. Now, normally, This is a really good afternoon tea, really good. Normally I'd enjoy that. Appreciate it's not much of a spectator sport. Michelle's come in with something else. What's this? If it's a scone from Devon or Cornwall, one has cream on first and the other one doesn't. No, I'm not having it, Michelle. Someone's made that up. I'm not having it. We got a back peddler, gang. Mark said, to be fair, when it's in your mouth, does it really matter as long as it tastes good? Well, no, I suppose it doesn't. However, you know, etiquette's etiquette. So this is the lemon drizzle cake. I quite like the idea of a little selection of cakes. I think that's quite important for afternoon tea because, again, it forces you to stop a little bit longer, doesn't it? So that's quite a nice thing. There was something really interesting. While I'm talking to you about this, I'll share some of my favourites. Jim and his wife, you know, the professionals, say that their favourite afternoon tea has been at the Dorchester. Fancy. Now, I've not been to the Dorchester's afternoon tea because it is always sold out whenever I want to go. But my absolute favourite, I've got kind of bugbears with some of the afternoon teas. They can be hideously expensive. The sandwiches can be dry. It's like people don't really put effort in. And I think you have to put effort into things like warm scones, homemade. You know, I've had stuff that clearly has been bought in and it's just not the same. But the best, the creme de la creme, and I guess this is kind of obvious, is Fortnum and Mason. And I know that sounds incredibly pretentious because, you know, they're ostensibly an extremely upmarket Waitrose. However, it is by far the best. Oh, I've just creamed. Let's move on. So this is the lemon drizzle slice. Let's have a little look at this. It's a lot of icing. My personal trainer is going to be like, I'm sorry, how much was your fat content? Oh, blimey. Oh, gang. That is an exceptionally moist lemon drizzle cake. But that lemon icing is floral. Those little things, like there's lavender, cornflower, I can't quite tell what that is. They're in it. Like that flavour is there. That is an absolutely amazing thing. We've got a shout out here from Keith who says the Midland in Manchester. So if you're up sort of north and you can't be bothered to travel all the way to London for afternoon tea, although, you know, I'm going to come to a point in a minute. We do a mean champagne afternoon tea. Now, here's the thing. Afternoon tea is supposed to be an experience. It was always an event. It was always, there's this bit in the middle of the day where we should do something. It should never be rushed. I don't think you should. I think you really should kind of shop around and look for a really good one. That's incredible. Should we do this, gang? I'm sort of quite interested to see what this classic brown is like. Now, I am absolutely going into this expecting full-on disappointment because Gower Cottage, who I reviewed like a few weeks ago, is brilliant. And I think this is a really lovely. I can't remember quite how much it was. It was maybe sort of 35 quid, something like that, which for two people is really good. I mean, you can kind of pay £30, you know, per person. Lucy says the Pump Room in Bath does a proper good afternoon tea. Oh, I missed that. We were there, and I didn't know they did afternoon tea, but obviously they'd sold out. So that's interesting. And Kath's absolutely right. Considering how much places charge, I think you need to be making effort for all the baked on premises and all the details and all the little things. I agree, because it is an experience. That's what people forget. That's historically what it was supposed to be. The tea's okay. You get a couple of things in here. There's a breakfast classic tea blend. I'm going to be honest, I know this sounds arrogant. It's not as nice as my tea. And it's not quite... I prefer a nice strong tea. This is a bit wishy-washy, so not in for that. But this is a classic brownie. Already feels very, very dense. I like a slightly gooier one. Although it has been in the fridge. I asked Mr. Adorable to put it in the fridge. Let's have a quick squiz at this. There's a fair bit of chocolate in there, gang. I'll tell you what, it's a good job there isn't like something afterwards that you watch. Because I'll be like this. Oh! Oh, wow, that's like a bread. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, cheeky. Yeah. All right. Gower Cottage are better. This is a very close second. Completely different consistency. It's very, very dense. But that flavour sneaks up on you. A little bit like, you imagine a very sneaky, like a little fox dressed in a policeman's outfit, sort of sneaking along the side of a wall like that with a camera around his neck because he needs all 4 paws. And then he can see you digging in the garden and he gets out like that and then gets that. Do you know what I mean? And then he's like, "Ugh!" Mark says you've been invaded by sex chat. What on earth are you on about? Great idea, Marky, along with Jez. What is going on now? Oh, yes, I have. Sex chat. There we go. Thanks very much. Let's ban that one. Yes. Look at me. I'm a success on YouTube when you get invaded by sex chat. That is not part of the tradition of afternoon tea, but thanks for the heads up, Mark. Maybe for the future, if you tell us what you're getting instead of teasing us, you might be able to get one and try it at the same time. That's a lovely idea, yeah. Brownie definitely would be nice and warm as well. That's a good call, actually, Kath. And that isn't on the sticker on here, but that's very good. I never thought I'd see the day when Elevenses needed a moderator. Matthew, tell me about it, right? I mean, can you imagine if this was live? I sort of feel like we'd need people in the... This is the comment of the year. Michelle says, I like my brownies warm and gosh in the middle. And that's exactly what I like. I want to bite in and go, gosh. I know what you meant. Anyway, so I think, despite the fact that the brownies aren't our super favourite brownies, this is a solid 9.5 out of 10. I'm marking them down because of the tea. Everything else is epic. So there you go. Where is it? Cutter and Squidge. Totally recommend that. Really gorgeous. But listen, here's the thing. You can make it on your own. It is a lot of effort. When we first moved here, I wanted to say hello to the neighbours, and when Woody arrived, I wanted to do some socialisation. So I thought I'd get them round. I baked a big cake and we had tea. I baked some scones. And actually the effort of that is quite nice. I think that's a really interesting thing, coming up. We're filming a thing next week, which you'll all see. That's called Crap and Creative Christmas Gifting. And I think it would be really interesting to think about experiences this year. Everybody is sort of a bit conscious of cost of living now. And there are a lot of people actually that, if you buy stuff for, is not necessarily what they really need. Because what they really need is perhaps some help with, living, or, I don't know, they don't need I don't know, whatever. Let's not get into that. But the point is that it's hugely valuable. I think the most valuable thing you can offer someone is your time. And sitting across somebody and saying hello and sitting across someone and enjoying an experience together is a really lovely thing to do. So perhaps consider making your own little afternoon tea and making time for somebody to sit and enjoy that. I think it's a really lovely thing. So get yourself to Fortnum & Mason. There's a couple of other things. We have the Pump House and there's somewhere or other in Manchester. Let me just scroll up and I'll give them a kind of shout out and a name check as well. The Midland in Manchester. And find yourself a really good afternoon tea. Spoil yourself. Put maybe £1 away a month or £2 away a month if you can afford it, and build it up over a bit of time. Treat yourself, get down, and I think you'll really, really enjoy it. This is just amazing. So, anyway. Oh! I missed it. It was supposed... Too late. So, anyway. Oh! Good idea, Michelle. Good afternoon tea in our garden regularly. Regular. I'm bored of it now. No need, is there? Anyway. Whatever you're up to this week, see if we can avoid some getting some afternoon tea. Let me know if you've got a shout out. I'll definitely shout out some more afternoon tea people. But so there you go. That is the history of afternoon tea. Now there is also, I said I'd come back to the Elevenses thing because this is really interesting. I had to look this up on my phone this morning. Let's have a quick squiz here. The Elevenses first recorded 1823. Now where I thought this was interesting is because it sort of fits in with the timeline of afternoon tea, of this moment of saying, I'm just going to take a moment, top up my sugar levels and sort of make myself a little bit less hungry and enjoy, classically, a cup of tea. So it's the kind of, well, it's not a meal, is it? It's like a snack between meals. I wonder whether Elevenses started as brunch Because it is that sort of bit in the middle. But brunch is a bigger thing, right? Whereas 11s is just a little moment, tea, maybe a little bit of cake. And actually, I can't wait. Once we've done 6 months or a year of 11s, there are going to be so many. We could do a top 10. We could do like a leaderboard of all of the different things we've had, different cakes and snacks we've had during 11s. But as tea, allegedly, became more affordable, this is Tea Time magazine, which I do subscribe to. Because, why not? As tea became more affordable to the working classes, because remember, of course, originally imported by royalty, was restricted by royalty in the early days as well, as a sort of, an elite addition to their table. So it wasn't allowed, it wasn't permitted to the working classes. And then when the import became a little bit more relaxed and fluid and easier, the price came down naturally anyway. And, I guess more entrepreneurial importers decided that they would offer it to other people. But as it became more affordable, the term, by 1849, there were both 11s and 4s were mentioned as work breaks in a Suffolk commentary on agricultural workers. So you can imagine all these people in Suffolk out in the fields and growing things and pulling things in. And it's hard work, right? And actually, they're getting a little bit tired. They need a little break. Perhaps they need to sort of pep their sugar levels, their energy levels up a little bit. And so 11s and 4s, I don't know why it wasn't 11s, but it was specifically registered or documented as 11s, and then later on 4s as little breaks. And so therefore, I guess from 4s we end up with 11s. I don't know why we don't have 4s anymore, but flipping heck, I think we should campaign for that. I don't know if I can do 2 broadcasts a day on a Sunday, because sometimes it's an effort even to get here on a Sunday morning, I'm not going to lie. But there you go. So it sort of makes sense that, with 11s and afternoon tea, we end up with this whole tradition that becomes a little bit sort of smoothed over, and you've got tea being enjoyed, being celebrated, being the central part of an experience, and all these little ancillary bits that you can't quite see, but my desk here is covered in what can only be described as a 4-year-old's dream and a 4-year-old parent's nightmare. So, listen, gang, I can't believe how quickly this has all done. It's been like no time at all. We just shot through this 11s. There was loads of other stuff I wanted to do. Matthew says he expresses disgust if he gets invited to a Teams meeting at 11. I express disgust if I get invited to a Teams meeting because I really hate the platform. But I get your point. So listen, everyone, or anyone, doesn't matter who's listening. Do something today that is for you a bit of an experience. If you haven't got time today, try and do it at some point this week where you get a moment to say, hey, I'm going to put a little bit of effort. You don't have to go making stuff like this, but I'm going to put a little bit of effort into carving some time out to create an experience with people and do something with each other. Because, of course, yes, you are worth it. You can do something that you will enjoy, that other people will enjoy as well. But the point is that we're only here once, right? So we get to enjoy what we want to do, and we get to enjoy what other people want to do at any time, really. I don't know why this is doing this. I'm trying to work out what's going on. Trying to deliver the final bit while I'm trying to work out what's going on here. But whatever you do today, whatever you do this week, make sure you're kind to yourself, and, try and be kind to other people as well. If that's a message that we spread, I think everybody will get on an awful lot better. I'm going to go now and try jam first and then cream, just to prove to myself that I was right all along. Have a lovely Sunday, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Happy Sunday and happy 11s and afternoon teas and 4s. Why don't we just sit and eat all day and chat? Sunday 11s live. See you soon.
Hey, happy Sunday. Nothing like a hot cup of tea.